to choose. Pressure and stress. Treatments range from medications to several new procedures that show great promise. Experts recommend a healthy lifestyle to lower the risk. Jason Walker reporting.
The Food and Drug Administration refuses to consider Moderna's application for a new flu vaccine made with mRNA technology. Moderna says got a letter from the FDA objecting to its clinical trial methods. The FDA says the trial failed to compare the new shot to the best available standard of care. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every day at this time, every weekday at this time, by our friends at the Clock Store, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Tuesday, February 11th, 2026. Number one, big developments in the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. As we enter day 11, we still don't know where Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, is today, but images and video of an armed intruder at the residence of Nancy Guthrie in the moments before she was abducted 11 days ago were released yesterday afternoon. They were obtained by a digital forensic cooperation between the FBI and Google from information stored somewhere from a now stolen Nest camera, and very complicated and involved forensic analysis. But the images are stunning. Number two, a 36-year-old delivery driver was detained for questioning late last night and released. Now, why is that? The guy's first name is Carlos, and he's got a Hispanic last name. He was detained at a traffic stop in a, I think it's called Rio Rico, a small city about 60 miles south of Tucson and 7 or 8 miles north of the Mexican border. Now, the standard for detention, if you're ever stopped in a traffic stop, and if the officers have a reasonable suspicion that you are connected to a crime or have information related to that crime, you can be detained kind of against your will for a brief period of time for questioning. And if during that questioning they do not elicit probable cause for your arrest, you have to be released. And that was the case here. Matt Finn of Fox News talked to this fellow, Carlos, and we'll have that clip for you here in just a minute. Number three, in a remote city in British Columbia, Canada, Tumbler Ridge, a tranny, a biological male pretending to be a woman, shot and killed 9 people at a high school yesterday before killing himself. The inept Canadian police called him a gun person. Oh my gosh. Another psychotic tranny killing people. Number 4, here in Nashville, Nashville Electric Service executives appeared at a 4-hour Nashville Metro Council meeting last night over the power outage debacle, and basically they said nothing. All they did was kind of read their previously released press statements. It was not a very successful meeting. And Tom Pappard will join us at the bottom of this hour to talk about that and more. All of the PR flax and crisis management folks that they're hiring. I think they may have spent more on PR and crisis management than they spent on tree trimming. Number 5, the great Lanny McGill, the CEO and founder of the Glock Store, will be with us in hour 2, in the bottom half of hour 2. Number 6, Sean Farash, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, will be with us in hour 3. And of course, Sean had a hilarious 2.5-minute YouTube video that has now, I think, over 5 million views about Bad Bunny, the nasty rabbit. It's a great bit. We might play that just before he comes here, and then we'll talk to Sean in hour 3. Number 7, Democrats are going crazy. I mean, they're just insane. But at Department of Homeland Security hearings, we've got those ridiculous questions that they asked, and we'll play that a little later this hour. So there you go. That's the morning rundown for Tuesday, February 11th, 2026, brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store. We'll hear from CEO and founder of the Glock Store, Lanny McGill, in hour 2. You've heard me talk about them all the time. Have you heard about the latest Glocks, the Gen 6? Lenny has. Lenny tells me the new Gen 6 Glocks have a new optic system, RTF6 texturing, an enlarged beaver tail, a flat-face trigger, a trigger guard undercut, and an integrated thumb rest, also known as the gas pedal. To be honest, I don't know what any of that means, except for the gas pedal. I get that. Lenny McGill does. In fact, Lenny tells me the Gen 6 Glocks are definitely the most refined Glocks ever produced. As you might expect, the Glock Store has already received their first shipment of Gen 6 G17s, 19s, and 45s, but they were literally gone before they hit the warehouse because the Glock Store is letting you pre-order these new Glocks, so you'll be one of the first people to get one. As a thank you for your pre-order, you'll get an extra magazine when you receive your new Gen 6 Glock. Here's what you do. Go to GlockStore.com, click on the Gen 6 tab at the top of the website, place your pre-order for the Glock or Glocks of your choice. When they ship your new Glock to the FFL of your choice, or you pick it up at the Glock Store retail showroom here in Nashville, the Glock Store will throw in an extra magazine. Now, this is a limited time offer, so order it now. Visit GlockStore.com today. I promise you'll be glad you did. So there you go. Now, let's go back to what happened in Arizona last night, Tucson, in the search for the mother of Savannah Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, was abducted 11 days ago. So this guy, Carlos, and his last name is Hispanic last name. You can find out what it is. Was detained, and Matt Finn from Fox News asked him a question about that. He was detained and released after a couple hours of questioning. Let's get the beginning of it. Let's see clip 25. Here's the setup and the questioning.
Yeah, Brian, that search happened right behind me. It went on for a couple of hours. There were all types of, law enforcement vehicles, police tape, the red and blue lights. And then all of a sudden, investigators just packed it up and took off. And at that point, we had access to the house that was being searched. And I talked to a man named Carlos. He told us that he was the guy who was detained for questioning during a traffic stop. And he says he had nothing to do with the Nancy Guthrie case. Here's my interaction with Carlos.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I and all that? But
are you ever up in Tucson?
yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have? Did they indicate that you might have been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They. Until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Well, this guy, obviously, I I don't know how you describe him, kind of an excitable guy, right? And he had some conflicting stories about his background. I think there are a couple reports that they may have tracked him to a delivery to the house there, which may have been the reasonable level of interest that allowed them to stop him. The confusion about whether the police stopped him or if he stopped and then went back because they were following him. Earlier, he said the following. Let's go clip 24, a little inconsistent.
Are you shocked?
Oh, yeah, I was. Come on, what do you expect me to do? ¿Cómo quieres que reaccione cuando algo pasa así? Pero yo no sé qué está pasando. Me agarraron como si fuera un criminal, me secuestraron. They held me against my will. They didn't read me my rights until 2 hours later. Okay? You know what I mean? My wrist is all fucking swollen.
Well, okay, so there we go. He had said later in that he had no idea. They didn't ask him any questions. Well, actually, then he told the Fox guy they did. What about your whereabouts? We'll see. There's also an unconfirmed report that he may have been connected to that Bitcoin account. Again, unconfirmed. When we come back, we'll have more. The Democrats go crazy, and they're insane, and they want to destroy our country. If you doubt me, listen to the testimony and the questions they asked DHS officials yesterday in Washington. Back after this.
They got a bill going up to allow casino gambling on your phone, not regulated.
They call it iGaming, and it's bad.
You put $10 in, it's gone. This is insane beyond belief.
Leads to loss of jobs, increased gambling addiction, putting families at risk.
How do you regulate it? How does the state tax it? Is it sponsored by the casinos?
Oh, this is another company that wants casino gambling on your phone in Virginia. Like my head is exploding.
Call 804-698-7400. Tell your senator vote no to iGaming.
I have no idea why Mamie Locke would introduce such a horrible bill.
This thing is probably going to pass if we don't stop it. Like my head is exploding.
Call 804-698-7400. Tell your senator vote no to iGaming. It's bad. Message paid for by the National Association Against iGaming.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, increasingly, it seems clear that the Democrats, nationally elected Democrats, are in the business of promoting the business model as fraud. Election fraud, and then fraudulent delivery of government money to their constituents. And they have no interest in actually the safe running of a constitutional republic. We are heading towards a budget shutdown for funding of Department of Homeland Security on Friday. The Democrats are doing everything they possibly can to shut it down, all of Department of Homeland Security, not just ICE or Border Patrol, etc. And the ridiculous theater that the Democrats are engaged in was on full display yesterday in budget hearings in the House of Representatives about this. A representative from New Jersey, I think it's Representative LaMonica. You may remember this person. This is the big, hefty representative who went in and attacked federal ICE officers at an ICE detention facility. And she's currently been charged with that. I think it's a misdemeanor or maybe even a felony, but she's going to be charged on it, and she's going to be tried on it. The director of ICE, Mr. Lyons, was there, and she asked him the most ridiculous questions. Let's play this clip right now. Clip one.
Let me ask you some questions that you may be able to answer. Mr. Lyons, do you consider yourself a religious man?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, how do you think Judgment Day will work for you with so much blood on your hands?
I'm not going to entertain that question.
Oh,
ma'am.
okay, of course not. Do you think you're going to hell, Mr. Lyons?
I'm not going to entertain.
Of course not. How many government...
The gentlelady will suspend. The
How many-
gentlelady will suspend.
Chairman?
A gentlelady will suspend. As I said, the issues we're debating here are important to ones that members feel deeply about.
Thank you,
While
Chairman.
vigorous disagreement is part of the legislative process, members are reminded that we must adhere to established standards of decorum and debate. The witnesses are here voluntarily, and I will continue to remind members that while oversight is important, aggressively attacking those witnesses personally is inappropriate and not in keeping with the traditions of our committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just asking a question. You guys are always talking about religion here in the Bible. I mean, it's okay for me to ask a question, right?
I just asked him a question. Oh, my goodness. How stupid and vile are most Democrat members of Congress? They are destructive to the proper operation of a constitutional republic. What an insulting set of questions. But wait, there's more. She apparently was born in the United States. She can barely speak English. This Representative Thanidar from Michigan, who was born, I guess, in India and can also barely speak English, had additional insulting questions for DHS officials yesterday. Let's play clip two.
Well, you better hope so. You better hope you get been pardoned, because you will be held accountable for the absolute disregard of the law your agencies have shown over the past year, your agencies have lost the trust of the American people, with millions taking to the streets to protect the illegal actions of your agencies. And that's why I introduced a bill in the United States Congress to abolish ICE. ICE must be abolished.
Okay, so there's another dopey Democrat simply reading a press release, and this guy has no understanding of what our laws are, our immigration laws are, and again misrepresents what ICE is doing. ICE is established by Congress for the purpose of enforcing immigration laws and for the purpose of identifying illegal aliens and detaining them and subjecting them to our immigration courts. And they should be removed after they go through the due process. It wasn't just Thanidar. It wasn't just La Monica. Representative Ramirez had her own vile questioning. Clip 20. Let's hear that.
So, Mr. Lyons, Mr. Scott, Mr. Edlow, you have weaponized the government. You have supported a fascist enterprise at the expense of our constitutional rights. You have violated the law. But let me remind you, you will not always be in power. One day, you will be held accountable for your role in this dark moment in America and our nation's history. I guarantee it. And with that, Mr. Chairman.
You will be held accountable. This is French Revolution stuff. I mean, we have to be honest about this. Where we are as a country. Every Democrat elected official at a national level, with the exception of John Fetterman, wants to destroy our constitutional republic. They're dishonest, deceptive. Why? I'll tell you why. Because the business model for the Democrat Party is fraud of two types. It's election fraud and it's financial fraud. And you see that everywhere. Their opposition to voter ID. Why do they oppose it? Well, they oppose it because illegal aliens without voter ID can vote. And when those illegal aliens go in and vote, as they do in Minneapolis, Minnesota, et cetera, they elect basically the fellow fraudsters like Ilhan Omar. Now, you look at Ilhan Omar in Minnesota, there are so many questions that have not been looked into. Allegations of immigration fraud, allegations that she married her brother for the purpose of allowing him to enter the United States. That would be immigration fraud. It's never been looked into. The other immigration fraud that really needs to be looked into is how she became an American citizen. Because she says she became an American citizen at age 17. Well, how can you do that? There's only one way you can do that. If you're under 18 and you live in the United States and your parent has become an American citizen, you could become an American citizen. Her mother passed away when she was 2 years old. And she came to the United States from Somalia, where her father was, a big official in the government, when she was 12. Her father never became an American citizen. Why aren't we looking into that? We need to look into that. The other thing about Ilhan Omar is she's gone from basically broke before she was elected to Congress to having a net worth with her husband of what? How many million is it? 10 million? Something like that. How'd that happen? And it wasn't just her. It's squad member Ayanna Presley, whose net worth, she's from, she's the bald woman from the Massachusetts area. When she was elected, I think in 2018, her net worth was $12,000. Today, according to financial reports, it's $8 million. How'd she get that? Well, her husband, who served 10 years in prison for drug dealing, is now a big-time empowerment consultant with corporations making $1 million a year, according to reports. And they own 5 properties that generate $350,000 a year in revenue. How did that happen? Yeah, this is all pure fraud. That's why, and every level of it is fraud. That's what the Democrats are supporting. It's an embarrassment. Anybody who's a member of the Republican Party who looks at these Democrats, you can't understand why they keep getting elected other than the fraud of having illegal aliens vote for them. Now, it's not happening in Tennessee. Why? Because in Tennessee, we do actually have voter ID. And that is preventing the higher level of fraud that you're seeing in all these blue states. Massachusetts, Minnesota, California, Washington, Oregon. In the blue states, government at a state level and is just not working. Speaking of blue cities not working, when we come back, we will hear from Nashville Electric, from Tom Pappert about the Nashville Electric Service meeting. Back with more Tom Pappert after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
It's simple. No worker should ever be forced to pay money to a union boss just to get or keep a job. That's why hardworking Virginians overwhelmingly support right to work and agree that forced unionism is wrong. Unfortunately, right to work is under threat from radical state legislators who seek to overturn right to work and grant union bosses the power to have workers fired for refusing to pay union dues. Studies show that if they succeed in repealing Virginia's right to work law, it would cost the Commonwealth over 200,000 jobs. That's why it's vital to tell your legislators and Governor Abigail Spanberger to defend right to work in Virginia. With the General Assembly now in session, it's vital you make your voice heard today. Go to VirginiaRightToWork.com and demand your legislators and Governor Spanberger oppose forced unionism and protect right to work. Defend freedom and Virginia jobs today. Sign your petition at VirginiaRightToWork.com, paid for by the National Right to Work Committee.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul-off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal with locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin. D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, winner of the Dow Prize for Best Local Journalism in the country, co-won by yours truly and Christina Botteri, our executive editor. Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
If George Orwell were alive today, he would probably be hired by National Electric Service to play the role of what was Winston Smith was a guy in his main character in 1984 that he wrote way back in the late 40s. But this is kind of what National Electric Service is doing. Just moving, not answering questions, hiring all sorts of PR flacks, basically. Let's start, before we get to the meeting last night, the 4-hour meeting at Metro Nashville. National Electric Service, which had 230,000 of its customers out of power during this winter storm, Fern, and it took 2 weeks to get all of them back online. And we reported that they have not accurately reported the level of tree trimming they got involved in, all sorts of other problems. They have decided to solve the problem by hiring a number of PR flacks. I don't know if they're spending more money on PR flacks and crisis management firms and lobbyists than they did on tree trimming, but I think it's getting pretty close. So let's go back through who we know. Let's go through who's on the payroll for National Electric Service right now. We know for a fact that their communications is handled by a company called Finn Partners. What is the contract that Finn Partners has, and how much are they getting paid every year to handle communications for National Electric Service?
Well, it's very interesting, Michael. There was a public information request, not by us, a couple years ago from a former reporter at WSMV. He posted it to social media during the storm, and it showed that this Finn Partners group was party to a contract worth up to $10 million. It's going to be worth up to $10 million by time it expires in October of this year. We asked NES whether or not this was still valid, whether this was accurate. Well, that was part of a series of questions. They did not dispute the accuracy of that up to $10 million value on the contract, but they did let us know that Finn Partners has been providing pro bono services since Winter Storm Fern.
So the $3 million a year is for communications other than communicating about handling of the storm, apparently, right? That's weird.
Apparently so.
Okay, so the second person who's been hired to apparently, quote, manage the press conferences during the storm, according to our sources, and there are other confirmation at other events, is this Blake Harris. Blake Harris is a former chief of staff of Governor Bill Leahy. So he's a guy, according to reports, who was running the press conferences. They're a complete disaster. How much do you think they're paying him?
Michael, whatever it is, I think it's far too much. The press conferences have been a complete disaster. It comes across as though it's something from the COVID pandemic. I think they host them quite literally with Zoom. And then one must wonder if it is this consultant they're paying, this kind of rhino-y consultant, who is advising NES to take their press conferences down after like 12 hours following the broadcast. So I think this is it seems clear NES thinks, okay, the Republicans are mad at us. Let's go pay a Republican consultant. This is my view. But that is not going to work out well, and especially if they think that this is going to prevent some sort of accountability.
Yeah. Then we have a report that, in addition to that, they have actually, there's a report that they've hired a crisis management firm. And that report was basically that the firm they've hired is a firm, we're working on confirming it, but we have multiple sources on this, is a firm called Purple Strategies. You may recall those guys were involved in the crisis management PR related to the 2010 explosion and fire on Deepwater Horizon, the oil rig out in the Gulf of Mexico. So do we have any confirmation about this yet from NES that they've hired Purple Strategies for crisis management? And has Purple Strategies said anything about this?
Well, Michael, we've reached out to NES to ask about what other communications, contracts, and agreements they may have entered into, and you may or may not be surprised to know that they responded to let me know that they are looking into my question and will get back to me.
And they still don't attach a name to it, right? When you get it,
no, never once.
Not a name. So, again, in contrast with other metro departments, now NES is separate but controlled by a 5-member board that's part of metro government. The board members are appointed by the mayor. So that is really interesting because Metro Nashville Police, we always have a director of communications, Don Aaron. He probably makes a couple, $200,000 or so a year. Whenever we ask them a question, that's who answers us, Don Aaron. He's a communications director. We get, I don't know, it might be like an AI bot responding when we ask NES for a comment. It's very deceptive. But wait, there's more. We also have a report, and I think we're about to get the confirmation of this, that they have, sources tell us that they've hired a lobbyist to lobby the Tennessee General Assembly. The name that we've heard is Mark Cate with the Stones River Group. What do we know about Mark Cate?
Well, Michael, this is kind of a well-respected lobbying firm in Tennessee. Again, this would indicate to me they are looking to hire firms, lobbyists, communication professionals that are going to ingratiate themselves or at least remove some hostility with conservatives and Republicans in the General Assembly. I think that what you're seeing now is a series of moves that are aimed at securing back channels of communication and potentially some sort of way out in terms of accountability that will not include mass resignations and firings.
Yeah, they're basically trying to keep their jobs. There's no question about that. And they're doing it in a very arrogant, condescending, non-responsive way, it seems to me. Now, let's see. We've confirmed the Finn Partners $3 million a year. There is apparently a confirmation that Blake Harris has been hired to manage the press releases and press conferences the past couple of weeks. The Purple Strategies things, we have sources. We're asking NES to confirm or deny. We're asking Purple Strategies to confirm or deny. You haven't heard from that yet. And then the Mark Cate thing, if you're hired to lobby the Tennessee General Assembly, you have to report that within 7 days. And so we'll be looking publicly for that. But I suppose we might as well ask NES, have you hired Mark Cate at Stones River Group to be your lobbyist at the Tennessee General Assembly? And we can ask Mark that as well. My guess is, though, we're going to get the same. We're working on that, Tom. What do you think?
I think so. And Michael, I was a skeptic of this AI theory, but it is a bit odd. And if it's not an AI, the only reason I think it might not be an AI is because it takes like 4 hours to send me this non-responsive an email. But if it's not an AI, whatever person is copying and pasting this form will get back to you response, they should be fired. And in fact, I question what on earth these 1, 2, maybe 3, 4 PR, crisis management, and lobbyist companies are doing, because they don't actually seem to be helping NES communicate. They seem to be helping NES hide from the public.
Yeah, and nobody's really asking the really hard questions in a really direct way, other than the Tennessee Star. I mean, the other news outlets are kind of beating around the bush on it, but they're not getting to, like, the key question that we asked is back on tree trimming, right? Clearly, Teresa Broyles Applin has misled the public by saying we've increased our budget for tree trimming for 4 years. Well, they may have increased the budget, but the budget isn't actual expenditures. We've documented from the 2024 annual report, they cut the expenditures on tree trimming were reduced from $21 million in fiscal 23 to $13.8 million in fiscal 24. We also have documented that it only slightly increased to $14 million in fiscal 25, and then fiscal 26, which began on July 1st of 2025. The budget apparently is $21 million, but the actual expenditures, we don't know what it is. We've asked them to tell us what the budget for tree trimming was in fiscal 26 and what the actual expenditures have been. What, pray tell, have they told us about that when we ask them that, Tom Pappert?
Well, Michael, they have received our question and are working to get us a response.
How hard is it to look at that? I mean, they do, financial reports every month, and the books close on, let's December, right? The books were closed by January 15th at the latest, right? So they know what they actually have spent on tree trimming, and they've got a little report that compares budget with actual expenditures. What we also know from a public report, you discovered that in November, the board was told, we got a big problem here because we're way behind tree trimming. Tell us about that.
Well, Michael, it was disclosed to the board in an audit. This was sort of agenda items to be aware of going into 2026. And there is green items, yellow items, and red items. And one of the most severe red items on this audit was a level 5.2. I know this is all very bureaucratic and nonsensical, but it was the most critical issue they could have displayed. And it was tree trimming reliability concerns. And the specific concern was that in 2025, they got behind on their tree trimming and were unable to trim all of the branches that they wanted to before the year would conclude. And this was specifically highlighted as a reliability issue. It was assigned to 3 vice presidents, one of whom had retired 3 weeks prior to the board meeting.
When we come back, this 4-hour meeting last night, Metro Nashville Council. What happened? Well, how did they respond? Was it satisfactory? Hint, not very. Back after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
For years, the Europeans have underestimated President Trump time after time. But at every turn, he's been right. On energy, on NATO, on foreign free riding. It's time they pay up. That's why he's cracking down on foreign countries that don't pay their fair share for American medicines, renegotiating trade deals for the prescription drugs we invent. President Trump is ending the foreign freeloading, making Europe pay their fair share.
Paid for by Americans for Limited Government.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, in the area of theatrical performance, we had a 4-hour meeting of the Metro Nashville Council last night, at which leadership of Nashville Electric Service was in attendance, as were some department heads from Metro Nashville government. Tom Pappert, it went on for 4 hours. It looks like the entire response by the National Electric Service leadership, Teresa Broyles-Applin, the hyphenated CEO of National Electric Service. In essence, it looks like all of their expensive PR flacks gave them a script to read, and they just read those scripts and didn't answer any of the substantive questions. What was your take on all this, Tom Pappert?
I think that was right. I think it was a very scripted event when it comes to what the executives and the board members had to say. I will say it was interesting Teresa Broyles Applin at one point noted that there was no special tree trimming initiative ahead of the storm. I think it was a member of the board who claimed that part of the reason they were caught off guard is because the forecast suggested that Memphis was going to be getting the brunt of the storm and not Nashville. I'm not so sure whether that is accurate or whether a power company should be hedging on that excuse. But the most interesting part, I thought, Michael, was at one point they had a lineman go up and speak to the council. And I thought, I frankly thought the guy was being used because he works for a bunch of liberals. The board is full of liberals. It's a political club masquerading as a power utility company. And he went up there and said, I don't want this to become a partisan issue. I think that if this becomes partisan, we're going to have a lot of issues at the company. And he identified himself, this lineman, as a conservative Republican. So I think that it was scripted to the nth degree, and I think that they should be ashamed of themselves for that performance.
That sounds like they're listening to Blake Harris. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes, it does. It does. As
Doesn't
I said
it?
earlier,
Yeah.
It seems as though they've realized the conservatives are upset with them. Let's hire a rhino-type consultant, and they'll tell us what to do.
And the whole deal on this is, right, you look at it, this was an utter debacle, lack of preparation, multiple errors by the leadership there. They really are not acknowledging their failures, and they're just trying to, ram through it on the theory that the structure of National Electric Service as a municipal electric utility, where the control is on the 5-member board appointed by the mayor, they think it's a social club that they run, and there's no accountability. That's really, what comes across here. By the way, on the social club side of it, the board membership, this is like political pals who are on the board. You've got the head of the Metro Nashville Urban League, who knows nothing about utilities. He's on the board. Delta Ann Davis, the big, let's save the tree canopy, let's save the environment, tree activist, environmentalist, and the wife of former Mayor Carl Dean. She's the chairman of the board, and she's really behind Teresa Broyles Applin. But in addition, the only guy with any really significant business background, what's his name? McCabe, is the brother-in-law, the step-brother-in-law of former Governor Haslam, the Pinnacle guy. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, isn't it?
And of course, he does seem to be one of the most perhaps business-minded members of the board. He's been there for quite some time, if memory serves as well. But he is not the chairman. And one must be wondering, what does Delta Ann Davis, no offense to her, but her most recent experience is working for the Southern Poverty Law Center to develop, I believe it was some sort of a novel legal team to go after environmental climate change issues. So we bring a woman who's been, I guess, suing with the SPLC, maybe power companies, and we make her the chairman of the board for a power company. It's an utter disaster. It makes no sense unless you view this board as a way to reward your political allies.
Sure. And the quote after action report that's going this commission is going to put together. 2 of the members are from Metro Council, and then 7 are reported by Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Not exactly somebody with executive, concise decision making, and that's going to drag on. And they're going to. Their hired PR flacks are going to cover up and explain, well, we'll make some changes. But really, if this were, honest and private sector, you would immediately go in. The board would fire the CEO. They would have fired the CEO, a week ago, number one. And the board would have resigned in shame. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Michael, it's interesting. We're actually seeing more integrity, more strong character from the Communist Party of Japan, where they just had a massive electoral blowout. The conservatives won there. And the first thing they did was they all held a press conference on the left-wing side, and they said, we will resign our posts. We did a very bad job, but we'll resign in 15 days. That way we'll have a transition team. Instead, NES, after much worse than a political defeat, I mean, people have died. they're
died.
desperately clinging to their jobs.
Tom Pampert, keep it up. And look, keep asking the questions from the AI bots that are being deployed by these political hacks at NES. Thanks so much for joining us today, Tom.
Thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure.
We'll have more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Ponder this. Do you enjoy the work you do each day? Some of us love our jobs. Others will not so much. Whether you are a person who teaches school, digs ditches, or runs a Fortune 500 company, the work we do has dignity, all of it. You see, Jesus Christ grew up in a relatively normal household. His mother Mary cared for the home, and his earthly father Joseph worked as a carpenter. There was nothing particularly exceptional about their daily home life. This model Holy Family performed all work with love, knowing they were doing the will of God each day. Doing routine tasks like caring for your family, doing domestic chores are particularly virtuous if done with love and joy. To accomplish every task assigned to you to the very best of your ability pleases the Lord. The Lord does not need you to bring home a big paycheck, climb the ladder of success, or have a stellar resume. He just wants you to love Him, love your family, and love your neighbor. Give to God your work. It is a great way to praise Him. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Do you think workers in Virginia should be forced to pay union dues and fees just to get or keep a job? For 80% of Virginians, the answer is no. That's why Virginia's right-to-work law is so popular. Unfortunately, special interest lobbyists in Richmond are seeking to repeal right-to-work in Virginia. With the General Assembly back, it is vital to tell your legislators and Governor Abigail Spanberger to oppose forced unionism and protect right-to-work in Virginia. Sign your petition today at virginiarighttowork.com. That's virginiarighttowork.com. The National Right to Work Committee paid for this ad.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. That closure of the El Paso International Airport, announced earlier this morning, turned out to be short-lived.
The FAA had announced it was shutting down airspace in the El Paso, Texas area through February 20th for security reasons, meaning all flights to and from El Paso International Airport would be grounded during that period. Now the Federal Aviation Administration says it has lifted the temporary closure, saying there was no threat to commercial aviation and that all flights would resume. A Trump administration official tells the Associated Press that the airspace over El Paso was closed after Mexican cartel drones breached airspace, but that the Defense Department took action to disable those drones.
Correspondent Donna Warder. He was detained, he was questioned, and then he was released. Investigators working the Nancy Guthrie disappearance detained the individual during an overnight traffic stop. They later searched a home in Rio Rico, Arizona. It's about an hour's drive south of Tucson near the Mexican border. The man questioned denies any knowledge of the Guthrie case. It's been a deadly mass shooting in rural western Canada.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police say 8 people, including the suspect, are dead after a shooting at a small school in British Columbia. And they say 2 more people were found dead at a home believed to be connected to the incident. In addition, another 25 people were injured, including 2 airlifted to hospital with life-threatening injuries.
Correspondent Ben Thomas reporting. Wall Street has turned lower following release of the January jobs report. Surprisingly robust 130,000 jobs created last month, and on Wall Street, stocks are in the red. The Dow down 240 points, while the Nasdaq trading 62 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
In Iran, the regime is marking the 47th anniversary of the overthrow of the Shah. The BBC's Lise Doucette is in Iran.
It's a cold winter's evening here in Tehran, and fireworks are lighting up the night sky. On our first day in the capital, we went to Revolution Square and found it decked out in brightly painted murals of smiling Iranians. It's all part of the 10 days of ceremonies marking the 47th anniversary of the revolution. And as the fireworks explode, we can hear the sounds of people chanting from their windows, some in support of the government, others shouting, "Death to the dictator."
Iran's president now says his country is open to nuclear negotiations, although the U.S. remains highly suspicious of the death to America regime's true motives. President Trump considering sending another aircraft carrier into the region. News and analysis, townhall.com. One of baseball's top pitchers of the modern age is returning to where it all began for his 21st season.
Justin Verlander is going back to his first big league team, agreeing to a one-year, $13 million contract with the Detroit Tigers. The deal for the three-time AL Cy Young Award winner includes $11 million in deferred payments. Verlander, who turns 43 on February 20th, is looking to rebound from a frustrating year with San Francisco. His 266 victories are tied for 34th on baseball's career list. His 3,553 career strikeouts are 8th and closely trailing Don Sutton's 3,574. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
A Russian drone struck a home in Ukraine's Kharkiv region overnight, killing a father and his 3 young children. Their mother, who is 35 weeks pregnant, was seriously injured in the Russian attack. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We've got a lot to cover. I want to start off with a sad but predictable story. We just published this story at the Tennessee Star, TennesseeStar.com. Headline, 9 killed, 25 injured in mass shooting at Canadian School and Home. It's by our own Christina Botteri, a co-winner of the Dow Prize for Best Local Journalism in the country for our reporting on the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and related issues for his detention. Here's a story by Christina Botteri. A gunman opened fire at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School and a connected residence in a remote northeastern British Columbia community on Tuesday, killing 9 people and wounding at least 25 others in one of Canada's deadliest school shootings in decades. The BBC reported the Royal Canadian Mounted Police received a report of an active shooter at the school at approximately 1:20 p.m. local time yesterday. 6 victims were found dead inside the school. A 7th died en route to the hospital. 2 more bodies were discovered at a nearby home police believe is linked to the attack. The suspected shooter, described in an initial alert as a woman with brown hair wearing a dress, was found dead inside the school from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Okay, so we have details on the alleged shooter. Jesse Strang was the name of the alleged shooter, who was a boy who was transitioning to be a girl. Another psychotic tranny, this time up in Tumbler Ridge, remote part of British Columbia. And the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, they just covered themselves in ridicule with the way they handle it. Let's play this clip right now, clip 26.
That includes the deceased gun person.
Okay. And then separately, do you know the gun person's relationship to the...
Okay. Deceased gun person. They can't even say this was a boy who was, and there's all sorts of reports about this person transitioning. And, another psychotic tranny. Of course, we know that here in Nashville with the Covenant killer, a woman, 28-year-old Audrey Elizabeth Hale, who self-identified as a male, hadn't begun any of the hormone therapy or anything else to complete that transition, but clearly self-identified as a male, dressed as a male, et cetera, et cetera. This is a real problem. And I got to tell you, the Canadians, the Canada that I knew as a kid is gone. There was common sense in that Canada. And, of course, I grew up across just 20 miles south of the border with Quebec. My father was born on a farm in Hemingford, Quebec, Canada. My grandfather was born on that farm. My great-grandfather was born on that farm. And we still own a little bit of the land there. But I would go over as a kid, and the Canadians were nice and common sense. But the Canadians were, in Quebec, kind of half English, half French Canadian, and the rest of Canada was English. Now, it's been filled with, Muslims from India and all over the world, and it is a totally different place. It is not the place. When I was a kid, there was a program on called Sergeant Preston of the Royal Canadian Mounties. Remember that? It was great. And Sergeant Preston was, he was a guy that got the job done. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police today, oh my goodness. They are politically correct leftists who can't call a boy and a girl. Speaking of being unable to call a boy and a girl, the worst Supreme Court justice in history, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who, our Senator Marsha Blackburn at her hearings for confirmation asked her, well, can you define what a woman is? And Ketanji Brown Jackson said, well, I'm not a biologist. I don't know. Ketanji Brown Jackson went to the Grammy Awards because she was nominated for, this is ridiculous. She did an audiobook based on her memoir. She was nominated for a Grammy. I don't know if she won or not, but it doesn't matter. She was there. She knew it would be an anti-Trump extravaganza. She knew all of the people would go up and say blank ice and ice off and all that sort of stuff. And she was there. Not only was there, she was clapping with the anti-Trump stuff. Now, if you look at judicial conduct, there are a whole series of rules that say, you should not engage in any activities that will indicate that you are biased one way or the other. She clearly should have to recuse herself from any immigration cases going forward. But she was on, of all places, The View yesterday. And here's what she had to say, defending her attendance at the Grammys. She, in a bizarre way, said, oh, it's part of her job. Really? Yeah, ask the rules of judicial conduct that have been around for 2.5 centuries. Let's play the clip. Clip 8.
Some Republicans have criticized the fact that you were even there, given the sort of hot potato political thing that with Bad Bunny, et cetera. They didn't think you should be there. In fact, Senator Marsha Blackburn, has called for an investigation into your impartiality. So, do you have any response to that?
Well, I mean, when you are in public life, criticism, is part of the job.
Yes.
I'm sure all of you have faced it.
No, we don't get anything.
And another part of the job, actually, my job, is public outreach and education. When the justices are on recess, which is what we are doing right now, we really have an opportunity to go out into the community in various different ways. I was actually in LA because of a moot court that I was doing at around the same time. And it's just so happened that I got nominated for this Grammy, and I was already going to be there, and I thought this is a great opportunity to highlight my work in this way and to see what's happening at the Grammys.
And you were nominated. Let's not forget the fact that you were nominated.
Yes.
You know, and had no way of knowing what anyone's speech was going to be.
That's right.
I would say Ms. Blackburn is snowflaking.
Okay, how stupid are these people? How stupid is Ketanji Brown Jackson to think that people would say, oh, I had no idea what they're going to say. It's the Grammys. They're a bunch of lefties. That is a disingenuous description of your job as a judge. There's no definition in the Code of Judicial Conduct of public outreach and education. You go to a moot court event, that's fine. But to go to the Grammy Award where you're going to be put in a position where it's going to be a bunch of criticism of the Trump administration's enforcement of immigration law, and to falsely claim, oh, I didn't know this. This is beyond ridiculous. But that's what we have going on here right now. What else do we have here? Okay. Yeah, I mentioned, let's go to Marsha Blackburn. Marsha Blackburn was in the news because, Verizon, without her knowledge, got all her phone records. Let's go to clip 10. Marsha Blackburn talking about that yesterday.
Mr. Miller, I want to come to you. Are you aware of the speech and debate clause in Article 1?
Yes.
Okay, and are you aware of the D.C. Circuit case U.S. versus Rayburn House Office Building?
Chairman Blackburn, I am not an expert on the speech or debate clause, but I have heard of that case.
You have heard of that case. Then you know that case stands for the proposition that there is a documentary non-disclosure privilege for members of Congress. So do you think Jack Smith violated that speech and debate clause protections?
Chairman Blackburn, I would defer to...
Okay, so he's dodging it. It's more of this craziness. All right, well, more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Ponder this. I was having lunch with a friend who was also interested in learning more about the Catholic faith in order to possibly convert. This friend also shared with me that she hated the President of the United States, Donald Trump. After further discussion, I mentioned to her that you cannot hate another person and be a Christian of any denomination. Hate is incompatible with loving Christ. Hate is not Christian no matter who our neighbor is. Sacred Scripture clearly states that as long as we love one another, God remains in us. The inverse is also true. God cannot be in us if we do not love others, and that means everyone. God gave us two great commandments, to love Him and to love our neighbor. All other commandments flow from these two. Loving our neighbor means loving those who especially are difficult to love. Let's start today by loving those around us that are particularly difficult to love. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. If you want to call in, our number, 615-814-2848, 615-814-2848. We need three things from you. Number one, your name. Number two, your topic. And number three, the state in which you reside. Well, actually, I got the order wrong there. Number one, your name. Number two, the state in which you reside. Number three, your topic. 615-814-2848. Also, you can watch us on X Live. Just go to Michael P. Leahy or the Tennessee Star on X, and you can watch us live for 3 hours a day. Or go to YouTube, Fire Stick. What else we're on Roku TV and Apple TV. Yeah, all of those, all of the above. That's where you can watch us live. Okay, so back to the main theme of America today, which is that Democrats hate America and are trying to destroy it. And the way they're doing it right now is Hakeem Jeffries, or what does Sean Farage call him? Peso Store Obama? Yeah, I think that's what he calls him. Who is, really a hardcore leftist propagandist. He wants to shut down the government, and they've got this deal to keep all the government is open until September, but DHS funding ends on Friday. He wants to shut it down because he wants illegal aliens to stay in the state, stay in the country so they can vote. And so then, after they vote, they can participate in all the fraud and stealing government money from Americans. Let's go. Clip 11. Here's Hakeem Jeffries.
It sounds like you think there's going to be a partial government shutdown on Friday.
Well, we can either have dramatic reform of DHS, ICE, CBP, and the way in which immigration enforcement is undertaken here in the country. Listen, these people, Katie, they promised that immigration enforcement was going to target violent felons who are here illegally. That's not what's taking place. They're targeting American citizens.
No, that's not true. That's a lie. Lie. Tom Homan knows what the truth is. And basically, if you are an illegal alien in the United States, if you entered illegally, you're all going to be subject to deportation. If you're violent, you'll be at the top of the list. But basically, they're saying everybody's on the way out. Now, the obstructionist Democrats, they want illegal aliens here. They want Muslims here who hate America. We saw, we'll get to the clips as to, there was a hearing on Sharia law, which if this were to happen, if Sharia law were to happen here in America, it is basically anti-American Constitution. There was a poll, 39% of Muslims support Sharia law who live in America. We'll get to that in a bit. Democrats don't want to talk about it. There was a Sharia law hearing, and then Steve Cohen, the only Democrat in the House of Representatives from Tennessee, the guy who's likely to lose the primary to Justin Pearson because Cohen is not radical enough. Here he is talking about, we're not going to talk about Sharia law at the Sharia law hearings. Clip 12.
We're talking about Sharia law? I mean, this is not really relevant to this committee and what's going on in America today. There's so much we could be dealing with concerning the Constitution and protecting America. White Christian nationalist ideology has been put forward. One of the gentlemen here said something about, what was it, the certain, it might have been you, Mr. Spencer, something that the group put forward as their plan for the future, some publication or some ideology. Did you mention that?
All right. So, look, he didn't want to talk about Sharia law. He wants to talk about white Christian nationalism. I'll tell you who wants to talk about it. Brandon Gill, who's a U.S. representative from Texas. He's bringing the details. Clip 21.
What percentage of U.S. Muslims believe that Sharia law should be implemented in the United States?
So I'm not aware of survey data on that specific question. However,
I can tell you it's 39%. 39% of Muslims in the United States want Sharia law implemented in the next 20 years. Do you know what percentage of Muslims in the United States support the formation of a Muslim political party?
Again, I'm not familiar with survey data on that particular question.
Number is 46%. Do a couple more. Do you know what percentage of Muslims in the United States support making it illegal to show a picture of the cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad?
So as with the other questions, a lot depends on the wording and the sample, and I would want to see those details
50%.
of the methodology here.
That's a lot. Let's do one more. Do you know what percentage of Muslims in the United States believe that Islam should be declared as our national religion?
Once again, I would want to look at the methodology of the survey, the question.
33%. This is from a survey conducted by the Heritage Foundation in 2024. In September of 2024, it was published on October 6th, 2024. I got two more for you. Do you know what percentage of American Muslims believe that Israel does not have a right to exist as a Jewish homeland?
I don't know that one either, but if it's from a survey by the Heritage Foundation,
it's 43%. You're happy, you can declare that statistics you don't like aren't true, but that's not how I'm going to operate here.
Okay, he just destroyed the guy. Brandon Gill's very good. Another guy's very good, Ted Cruz. He had this dialogue back and forth with some liberal professor from Minnesota talking about, whether the Somali community in Minnesota is helping or hurting America. Let's play a clip right now, clip 27.
Speaking loudly does not make it true.
Your time has
expired. It just doesn't.
Your time has expired. My question to the panel, and this is my final question, is importing vast numbers of people from an impoverished nation, putting the majority of them on public welfare for years and decades at a time, and then turning a blind eye while they steal billions of dollars from the taxpayers. Is that helping America or hurting America? Each of you has a chance to answer that.
It is not unusual for immigrant populations to have a high degree of assistance early.
Let me just stop for a moment. That's total BS. Okay, you go back to the period before Ted Kennedy opened the floodgates in 1965. That period from, let's say, 1880 to 1920, there was no public assistance for immigrants. I mean, if you came over to the United States, you had as if somebody who could support you and get a job. You weren't on welfare. The whole welfare thing has happened since 65. Let's keep going on that clip.
But we are already seeing statistics that the net benefit economically of Somali presence in the United States far outweighs the cost.
So you're
okay. So again, what is he talking about? The net benefit? I mean, they're all 84% of them 10 years into it are still getting assistance. I mean, just they're getting all sorts of money coming from America. Plus, they're right at the center of all this fraud. Ted Cruz continues on that.
This massive welfare usage is helping America, and the fraud is helping America?
Not the fraud. We need to go after the fraud, which makes all inexplicable the Trump administration's decision to take actions that has decimated the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota. I can't understand it. Can you understand it?
So simple question. Is this helping America or hurting America?
The Somali presence in the United States is helping America. That graph
for the Minnesota taxpayers who had $9 billion stolen from them, sir, the Minnesota taxpayers who had $9 billion stolen from them, it has not helped them, and the American taxpayers who are supporting a dependent population who are here for one reason, and that is to vote Democrat and give money to elect Democrats. And if it robs the American taxpayers and endangers our security for our Democrat colleagues, that is a perfectly acceptable trade-off.
Speaking loudly does not make it true.
Your time is
what
just
an idiot. What an idiot. Here's the problem we have, right? The problem we have is all of these people that have gotten, certifications that they're smart, gotten PhDs in this or that. They're not smart. They don't have any common sense, but they're arrogant. Now, that guy, obviously, he's making, $250,000 a year or whatever he's making as a professor. And you notice he's so condescending in the way he's approached, but he lacks common sense. This is the problem that we have right now. The problem we have is that our institutions, the leadership of our institution is populated by people that are arrogant, condescending, stupid, and lack common sense. Boom. There you go. That is the problem we have as a country today. And you see it everywhere, but particularly you see it in blue cities and blue states. They just don't work. That guy is an absolute example of it. And look, you see it coming, the Sharia law situation is very bad. They're trying to take over Texas. And if you don't fight back, they'll take over Texas and they'll take over other parts of the country. When we come back, if all goes well, we'll hear from the one, the only, Lanny McGill, the Glock Store. Back after this.
They got a bill going up to allow casino gambling on your phone, not regulated.
They call it iGaming, and it's bad.
You put $10 in, it's gone. This is insane beyond belief.
Leads to loss of jobs, increased gambling addiction, putting families at risk.
How do you regulate it? How does the state tax it? Is it sponsored by the casinos?
No, this is another company that wants casino gambling on your phone in Virginia. Like my head is exploding.
Call 804-698-7400. Tell your senator vote no to iGaming.
I have no idea why Mamie Locke would introduce such a horrible bill.
This thing is probably going to pass if we don't stop it. Like my head is exploding.
Call 804-698-7400. Tell your senator vote no to iGaming. It's bad. Message paid for by the National Association Against iGaming.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We welcome to our program our very good friend, the CEO and founder of the Glock Store, the one, the only, Lenny McGill. Welcome, Lenny.
Hello, Michael Patrick Leahy. How are you?
We're doing great. Lenny, I have a favor to ask you.
Yes.
We had our 9th birthday last week of the Tennessee Star, and people said, we'd like to do a party sometime for your 10th birthday, which would be a year from now. And I thought, Lenny at the Glock Store, you've got all the Glock parts and accessories, and you make some great stuff, and all the Glocks are there. You got the Gen 6s coming in. But you also have a place where people can hold events. And I thought,
we do.
I think I'd like to do this, but I'd like to get your permission.
I think that's a fabulous idea. We'd love to have you guys, and we have a huge party room, and we can accommodate up to probably 100 guests, easy. And in our open house, we've had 500 or 600 people, so it's definitely a big facility, and we would love to have you because we are big supporters of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Well, okay, so then let's do this. Let's have a party a year from today at the Glock Store to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Tennessee Star. How about that?
You got that for sure. Now we have lots to talk about today too. I'm still kind of crazy about these Epstein files, and I know you're working it just like everybody else. But man, I tell you, where are we going with this stuff?
Yeah, the Epstein files, very bizarre. 3 million pages released. What I found interesting is, so many high-profile individuals are mentioned in the files, and some of them look like they may have been engaged in improper activity, like, I don't know, formerly Prince Andrew.
Well, I just want to know who are the names that were redacted.
Yeah,
That's what I want to know.
Exactly. Now, the interesting thing about that came out of the files that back in 2006, Donald Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago and called up the chief of police at Palm Beach and said, you got to look into this guy because he's doing some awful stuff, and I kicked him out of my club.
I'm familiar with that side of the story, and so who knows? We're really just scratching the top of this thing, and it's really nasty. But hey, you know what? Our store was closed down for the ice storm. We lost power for 10 days.
No, I didn't.
Yes. And we are now back open. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get back on the radio with you, is to let everybody know that we are open, and the facilities, open. We have our USPSA match this weekend. We've got the training in full-fledged. Again, we basically had 10 days of no power in the building, so it was really pretty dreadful. Of course, a lot of people were impacted, and we are glad that we're back up and running, and we think that most of the town is back up now. But boy, what a nightmare that was. But we are open, and we're hoping that people will, forgive us for being closed, because a lot of people had appointments, and a lot of people came,
Sure.
drove up sometimes, and of course, a lot of the town was shut down, and so they were looking for something to do, come shoot, and we were closed down, but we're open now.
Tell us about this USGA competition.
The USPSA is United States Practical Shooting Competition, and we do it once a month, one Saturday a month. I think it's the second Saturday of every month, and it's a kind of a run and gun pistol competition. We have about 100 competitors show up. It's fascinating. You shoot at multiple targets in multiple directions. We've got 4 or 5 stages set up. It's a timed and scored event. Really gives you an idea, to kind of gauge your skill level where you're at. There's a little bit of pressure. Other people are watching, and so you have a timer there, and you have to go. You have to operate the gun in a efficient manner and be able to go from target to target. And there's some people who are really, really good. And then there's some people who are brand new, just want to learn how, and want to just improve and just test their skill level a little bit. So we get all types here. It's really a fun day, and it's, like I said, the second Saturday every month we do.
Yeah, and
it's
that's
open to the public.
And the idea of improving is really key, because it's like it's a skill that if you don't come in and practice periodically, your skills kind of diminish. So you got to keep at it, right?
It's definitely a perishable skill, and to be on a higher level, and you never really forget, kind of like riding a bike, but to be able to operate efficiently and to shoot in a say fast and accurate manner, it does require practice, and that's what just like everything else in life. So the key is to come down and train with us. We've got these amazing shoot rooms; they're not lanes. You can do all kinds of fun stuff in these shoot rooms. We can turn the lights down. We can shoot at multiple targets. We can move. We can draw from holsters. We can practice concealed carry, practice home defense. It's really a tremendous facility. And then this USPSA match is competition that we do. It's part of a large organization around the country. There's a lot of USPSA shooters. But it's open to the public. You can come down if you're, intimidated, whatever. You can watch it just to see what happens, or you can sign up and join us, because it's a lot of fun to challenge yourself. And usually there's a start position, and there's 5 or 6 targets, and then you move to the next position, you shoot, and you go to another position and shoot. And again, it's timed with a timer, and then your score is your accuracy on the targets.
Are you still doing all of your instructional videos on Glocks?
We are, and the YouTube channel is live and well, and over 500,000 subscribers, and lots of views. So we're pretty happy with that. The videos that we do are usually for not only how to shoot, but how to take your gun apart, how to install parts. And now we have just done the new Gen 6 video.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, so Glock now has introduced the Gen 6. So they had a Gen 3, 4, 5, and now Gen 6. And the Gen 6 has got some unique features to it. I did a whole video on it. It's really fascinating. But we do have a limited supply of Glock 19 Gen 6. They're really, really popular right now because they just were introduced, so they're kind of hard to get. But I do have a limited supply of Glock 19 Gen 6 in the store for retail customers.
So when did you do the Gen 6 video?
Just about 2 weeks ago.
Got it. And it's been
maybe 3 weeks ago.
How long does it run?
Oh, it's pretty in depth. This video, because I did complete disassembly, reassembly. It's probably about 45 minutes long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Glock is always adding and improving. What are the key things in the Gen 6 Glocks, the Glock 19s and 17s, and I think the 45s?
Yeah, there's 3 of them, 3 models right now, the 17, 19, and the 45. And what they did is they altered the frame a little bit to make it a little bit more ergonomic. Really, is a lot of similarities, but they also changed some of the internal mechanisms that will make it more difficult for it to be converted into a fully automatic gun. And that was one of the main things that was happening. They were selling a switch that was allowing it to go fully auto. And I think Glock got some regulatory or governmental pushback on that, and so they acquiesced and redesigned some of the internals that would make that switch non-functional.
Now, you do a lot of Glock accessories. I think you make, how many CNC machines do you have now that you design these accessories?
We do. We have a manufacturing facility here in Tennessee. We hire, we employ 100 people. Then we manufacture here in America, which I think is really key. We make
parts and pieces for the Glock, and we have 17 CNC machines.
You're up to 17 now. Gosh,
Yes, sir.
when you moved here, I think you had like 6.
Yeah, we did. We're growing like crazy. You know, we've been very fortunate. You know, the business is expanding. You know, I'm kind of running out of room in the building. So we're starting to think about some other options on, real estate here.
No kidding. You're growing that
yeah,
because I remember when you opened, it's huge facility. There were a lot of empty rooms, and you were anticipating growth, right?
Yes, I was, and we have. We've been very fortunate. Like I said, everybody I think knows we came from California.
Mm-hmm.
I was in California for 35, 40 years, and we had been in a building in California. We were in a building in California for 5 years, and kind of my wife was bugging me to get out of California. So, but we also needed to expand. So we picked Tennessee, we picked Nashville, and we were very fortunate that we did. It's a great town, and we got into a much larger building, basically double the size of what we had.
Yeah.
And now that was 5 years ago, and all of a sudden now I'm looking around thinking, oh my gosh, we're running out of space. As the owner, I've got to kind of think forward.
Yeah.
I can't really just think about today. Hey, what's going to happen in 2 years from now? What's going to happen in 3 years from now? And so I'm looking at the entire business and saying, I think we may need to move our shipping and handling and warehousing to another larger facility, because that's really, the main thing. We ship about 1,500 packages a day all around the country through FedEx and such, and so we're kind of getting to a point where it's kind of hard to operate all of a sudden. We're very fortunate. We've been growing like crazy.
So you would keep the retail showroom where it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Keep the CNCs where they are, right, and then handle the rest of it. Would you do it in Davidson County, Williamson County, Rutherford County? To that.
So much. There's a lot to be determined there. I don't even have an idea. I've been, I'm, just kind of looking around right now. But the problem is that you want to be close to here because of the proximity. Because we're manufacturing things here and shipping there. It gets a little bit goofy sometimes. But the retail location here is great. We're real close to the airport. We get a lot. I'm talking about a lot of tourists come here. And, I just saw the other day, they were talking about the tourism into Nashville. So it's one of the most popular tourist locations for the United States. Did they say 17 million people a year? I mean, it's a good number of people come to visit Nashville. So,
are we going to get a Music City? Go ahead.
Yeah, and we get a good share of those people. People come by to see us.
Are we going to get a Music City Loop stop at the Glock store?
Oh, I'd love to talk to Elon about that.
Next time I talk with Elon, I'll ask him to consider it. I want to go back to the all the products that you come up, the accessories. Now, basically, you have innumerable accessory products that you've designed. Do you do most of the design of these products, or do you have a team? How do you come about doing that?
It's definitely a team effort, and I have ideas, and then we have people who are more skilled in engineering type who will actually, design them, quote unquote. So, hey, I'd like to see this part do this. We basically sell parts and pieces that enhance the Glock. They're performance parts. Kind of like if you have a Ford pickup truck and you put a lift kit on it and tires and, some lights on the top and all that. We kind of do the same thing to a Glock. We make it a little bit better experience to shoot, but also it kind of looks cooler, and it's just a better, overall gun at the end of the day.
Last question. How happy are you that your business is in Tennessee now and not in California?
Oh, my goodness. I guess I did not see. Now, I don't know if your listeners know this, but California officially banned the sale of Glock handguns. Officially, as of January 1st.
No kidding.
So,
I think you're very happy then that you're
oh, my
here.
gosh. It's unbelievable.
Crazy.
Like I said, what's really funny is my wife had this premonition back in, 2016. She said, hey, we got to get out of California. I said, really? Oh, yeah. So something that just doesn't feel right.
A wise man listens to his wife, as you do.
I'm telling you, the women have an intuition that, is unbelievable, and she was right on. And so in 2018, we moved. And we started moving, should I say.
Lenny McGill, the great Lenny McGill, the founder and CEO of the Glock Store. Lenny, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Have to have you here in studio again in the near future.
Well, we have to have you come down to the range again. You haven't been here in a while, so I want to maintain your skill level.
I need to maintain and improve it. Lanny McGill, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. We'll have more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
They got a bill going up to allow casino gambling on your phone, not regulated.
They call it iGaming, and it's bad.
You put $10 in, it's gone. This is insane beyond belief.
Leads to loss of jobs, increased gambling addiction, putting families at risk.
How do you regulate it? How does the state tax it? Is it sponsored by the casinos?
No, this is another company that wants casino gambling on your phone in Virginia. Like my head is exploding.
Call 804-698-7400. Tell your senator vote no to iGaming.
I have no idea why Mamie Locke would introduce such a horrible bill.
This thing is probably going to pass if we don't stop it. Like my head is exploding.
Call 804-698-7400. Tell your senator vote no to iGaming. It's bad. Message paid for by the National Association Against iGaming.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumberyard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Got some interesting immigration law issues I want to talk about right now. And again, the big issue is two things that Trump promised to do. Number one, close the borders. He did that, cut off the inflow of all these illegal aliens who basically, a number of them want to engage in fraud and steal money from American taxpayers. And many of them are criminals. Not all of them, but many of them are. They engage in violent crime here. So it's been misreported, misrepresented in any number of ways. The guy who's really on top of it is Tom Homan. Tom was on Bill Maher recently. Let's play this clip right now.
Why do you think the Democrats did this? I mean, it was not just bad for the country to have completely open borders. I mean, even the liberals understand that now. It was also bad politically. Why? What was
I get asked that all the time. I don't understand. You know, I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I worked for, even Clinton, Obama, took some steps to secure the border because they understood you can't have strong national security if you don't have border security. No one did it better than President Trump. Like him or love him, most successful when it comes to border security and the safety of this nation, no one's done it better. Joe Biden's the first president in the history of this nation that came in office and unsecured the border on purpose. There wasn't an accident. It wasn't.
Why?
I don't really know. The only thing I can guess is they saw a future political benefit from letting millions of people in the United States, whether they thought they were future Democratic voters. But remember, when he signed 90 executive orders destroying everything we did, he also overturned the Trump census rule, which means millions of people released in sanctuary cities will be counted in the next census. What's that mean? More seats in House with the Dems. There's no other reason. Because I asked every Democrat I ever talked to, what's the downside in a secure border? What's the downside in less illegal drugs killing Americans? What's the downside in less sex trafficking of women and children? What's the downside in less terrorists coming across the country? What's the downside? They can't give you a downside. So they must have saw a future political benefit.
Okay, so he's laying out the case for the border. He's up in Minnesota. He's got a very direct way of handling things, not over the top, but he's basically got law enforcement there actually doing what law enforcement should do, which is assisting the removal of illegal aliens by ICE. And we'll see how long that lasts. There's a story I wanted to get to here that the guys at Reason Magazine have been promoting, and the Irish Times have been promoting. It's about an illegal alien by the name of Seamus Culleton, who's from Kilkenny in Ireland. It's been misrepresented by the libertarians. I know that will shock you, because the libertarians increasingly have this abstract view of the world that doesn't connect with our laws at all. And so they were saying this fellow, Seamus Culleton, who's currently in detention in Texas, is not being handled with due process. Well, let me give you the story on Seamus. Seamus entered the United States in 2009, and it was on a visa waiver program. Now, it was for 90 days, okay? So he overstayed the visa. So he's been illegal in the United States since 2009. Okay. Apparently, he went ahead and married an American citizen and stayed here illegally. Did nothing on his to obtain legal status subsequently. You know, he could have applied for asylum, although why would you apply for asylum from Ireland, right? Yeah, but that's timed out. You got 1 year to do that. He didn't do that. So then in April of this year, he applied for a green card, got a driver's license in April. But in September, a federal court had a final order of deportation for him. He was picked up by ICE. He refused to leave voluntarily. And okay, he's been held in detention ever since. I think he's waiting for a ruling from the Board of Immigration Appeals. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get it. He's been held, and his refusal to leave when he's been here illegally is really the problem. And now they're all whining and saying, oh, it's so terrible, it's so terrible. No, if you're here illegally, it doesn't matter if you've, not committed any major crimes or any minor crimes. You are illegal. And if you got a final order of deportation, bye-bye. That's really what has to happen. You can cry and complain as much as you want. When we come back, if all go, do we hear this guy? Is he coming? I think in the distance I see the helicopter with 47 and Sean Farash. Hopefully they'll be able to land and come in, and we'll talk to him when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio, they're done, but before you file them with the IRS, he doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth.
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis. Get your winning plays and parlays from Godzilla Wins, Saturdays at 7 a.m. or click GodzillaWins.com.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Attorney General Pam Bondi testifying today before the House Judiciary Committee. Meanwhile, Democrats try to frame the Attorney General's actions concerning the Epstein files as being faulty. Meanwhile, the top Republican on the committee.
What a difference a year makes. Under Attorney General Bondi, the DOJ has returned to its core missions, upholding the rule of law, going after the bad guys, and keeping Americans safe.
And that is Chairman Jim Jordan during today's House Judiciary Committee hearings. The White House is cheering today's jobs report, which came in with more jobs than expected last month. Employers adding a surprisingly strong 130,000, much more than the 70 that had been predicted. Senior White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett says the numbers vindicate the president's tariff policies.
We just saw one of the best jobs reports you've ever seen, outperforming the estimates of 76 out of 78 economists polled by Bloomberg, giving us, let's go through it, the best labor force participation that we've had since 2001, the lowest share of federal government employees that are working since 1966.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down about 8 points. Pro-family Virginians gathered at the state capitol yesterday to warn that new progressive state lawmakers are sidelining parents from obstructing parental input on explicit school content to inject sexual ideology.
Seth Wolf's son was suspended for voicing surprise when a biological girl entered and videoed a boys' school locker room in Loudoun.
Legislators continue to vote down common sense bills that would protect our children. Parents are not asking for much but basic safeguards. We're asking for bathroom privacy. We're asking for transparency on school policies and an end of pushing radical gender ideology on kids without parents' consent or knowledge.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. A lot of us are thinking about taxes, home projects we've been putting off, ways to get ahead financially in 2026. Now's the perfect time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. If you want to lower your mortgage payment, they can help you refinance. If you need access to cash for home improvements or to wipe out high-interest debt, their fixed-rate line of credit is one of the best tools out there. Fast approval, predictable rate, and flexibility to use your home's equity wisely. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. Imagine starting big projects or paying down debt with 2 months of breathing room. My family and I have used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Take control of 2026. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE. That's 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Here's Rich Thomason now with the Midday Wall Street Business Report.
America's employers added a surprisingly strong 130,000 jobs last month. The January jobs report came late because of the government shutdown. Among the early movers on Wall Street, Mattel. Shares of the toy maker fell more than 26% after it closed out a rough year by missing Wall Street sales and profit targets. Mattel's disappointing results come just a day after rival Hasbro saw its shares climb more than 7% after topping analysts' expectations for profit and revenue. Mobile stock trading platform Robinhood Markets slid 7.8% after it hit profit targets but fell short on analyst revenue expectations as cryptocurrency trading volumes fell sharply. Ford Motor Company rose 1.7% after it missed profit targets but beat revenue forecasts. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news at townhall.com. According to new polling, Americans' hope for their future has fallen to a new low. Here's Bill Alexander.
In 2025, only about 59% of Americans gave high ratings when they were asked to evaluate how good their life will be in about 5 years, the lowest annual measure since Gallup began asking the question almost 20 years ago. The finding comes from a long-standing Gallup question asking Americans to rate their current and future lives on a scale from 0 to 10. Those who give themselves an 8 or higher are categorized as optimist.
And that is Bill Alexander reporting. The Congressional Budget Office projects worsening federal deficit and rising debt over the next 10 years, driven, they say, by increased spending on Social Security, Medicare, and debt service payments. The report factors in major developments over the past year, including the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and higher tariffs, even though many economists disagree.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I see the helicopter has landed. There it is. And stepping out of the helicopter is 47, along with Sean Farage. And 47 is a little bit taller, not too much taller than Farage. But they're both coming in together. We'll start off with 47. Mr. President, welcome to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Well, we're happy to be here. It's a happy Trump Day. You know that?
Trump
we
Day.
Came off of what I thought was a very bad Super Bowl, an even worse halftime show, but boring. But the Seahawks did a tremendous job. And, you look at Drake May, he looks like Harry Sisson, not taking anything away, but there's a very strong resemblance. A lot of people got mad at me for saying that. They said, sir, don't do that. I said, but it's true. You look at him. And he played like Harry Sisson, too, a little bit. That interception he threw was a bad throw. That was a throw. He's trying out to be the Jets quarterback. That was a bad throw.
Well, he's only in his second year. He'd been a little bit injured. I didn't talk too much about it, but I was thinking it was the game itself was awful. I mean, it was let's just say what was good about the game. The Seattle defense was very, very, very good. And the MVP, he's a Tennessean, Kenneth Walker III. That guy, he made it happen in the first half with his runs, and his style of running was really spectacularly good. He's the kind of guy he waits for the show, he waits for it to develop, and then when he sees the opening, boom! I mean, first run 10 yards, next run 29 yards, next run 30 yards. He was the only offense out there on the field. Everything else was, defense, defense, defense.
Well, he had a lot of tremendous runs. And you look at Jerry Nadler, he knows a thing or two about the runs. But they say to me, sir, you're not supposed to talk about that. But Kenneth Walker was great. I taught him everything. You hold the ball high and tight so you don't fumble. There were no fumble. And Kenneth Walker protected the ball like we're protecting our country when we shut down the southern border. But Kenneth Walker was great, and the Seahawks were great. And the head coach McDonald, which is a tremendous last name because it has the word Donald in it, but also McDonald's is a great place as well. You look at it. So, but I was actually very happy to see that. Kenneth Walker got the award, but I was really the Super Bowl MVP. I won the
Why
MVP.
was that, Mr. President?
Because we called out the nasty rabbit. He's a nasty person.
Yeah.
El Conejo Desagradable. He's a horrible guy. That means nasty rabbit in Spanish for him. And he said some nasty things on television. He said some nasty things. So we're looking at the FCC and possibly holding some people accountable. But El Conejo Desagradable, the nasty rabbit.
What's wrong with Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL?
There's a lot of things, right? First of all, he's trying to steal my look. There was a long time ago he kind of looked like me a little bit. I'm a lot better looking than he is. But I'd like to call him a stupid person, El Stupido. He wants to focus on diversity. He doesn't want to focus on why people watch football. They don't watch it for diversity. They watch it because it's a great sport. And they watch it for the game. They don't watch it for the nonsense in the halftime show. He has to do something, too. You have Jay-Z, who's a horrible person, too, a very nasty guy, a creepy guy. And he's the one picking all of the so-called talent. There's been no talent for the halftime show. But you look at Turning Point, and they did a great job with Brantley Gilbert. They call him BG. They have Gabby Barrett, who's GB. And then you have Lee Brice and Kid Rock. We love Kid Rock, but they had a great halftime show. A lot better than Nasty Rabbit's halftime show, I could say that.
From a football perspective, and I love watching the game of football. It's a great game when you don't get all the left-wing politics thrown in. That was not a good game.
That was a terrible game.
It was a bad game.
If I was playing on the field, it would have been better, but I would have won like nobody's ever seen before. Nobody would have seen anything like it. Last year, we almost won the Daytona 500. I ran the first lap, and, William Byron won it for the second year in a row. I said to William, I said, Billy, I would have won if I stayed in the race. He said, sir, I know that. William Byron's a very smart guy. But, and you look at Bill. Bill's a great guy, too. You look at Billie Eilish. She's not a great person. And she's on stolen land, and we're going to work to get that land back. She's Chief Golden Eagle is going to work very hard to get the
I hear there's a lawyer
back.
who may attempt to evict her.
We're going to get her evicted. We're going to get her evicted. We're going to get her off that land. It's stolen land. So she has to go. You look at Land O'Lakes Butter. They did the same thing. They removed the Indian. They kept the land. You're not supposed to do that. So, and we're going to build a big, beautiful golden teepee on the land where her house is. I have a big teepee. A lot of other people like Crying Chuck, like Peso Store, or we talk about Native American Wampum Store, Obama. He has a very small teepee. And small Easter eggs, too, very small Easter eggs. I have the biggest eggs in the history of the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. But the Super Bowl was terrible. But it would have been a lot better, I think, if I was on the field, but we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to take anything away from these people.
You sort of feel like, I guess you're a big Jets fan, and they're in the same division as the Patriots. This was not a good performance by the Patriots, and it looked like their defense was pretty good. The best play the Patriots had wasn't shown on air. It was when that streaker ran across, right, and was tackled by one of the rookie defensive backs for New England. That was their best play, I thought.
Well, you look at the security on the field with the streaker. They were having a hard time catching up to the streaker. If I was on that field, I would have taken him down. I'm in the WWE Hall of Fame. I got along very well with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's a great guy. Vince McMahon and Linda McMahon, also great people. But I would have taken them and I would have thrown them. You know Glenn Jacobs.
Oh, yeah.
Kane. He would have picked that guy up and thrown him through a table. But the security was very weak. But the Patriots player, that chased him down, did a great job. If only he would have done a great job with Kenneth Walker, they may have won the game,
Yeah,
but
they
he didn't
couldn't.
do that.
They could get the streaker, but not
They
Kenneth
couldn't get
Walker.
Kenneth Walker.
So the interesting thing about this, it seemed to me, is the game was deadly dull. It was dull. It was dominated by Seattle. The Patriots really were not in the game at all. You had, and Drake May didn't have a great game, made a couple bad passes, but he was always running for his life. How many sacks did they have?
Well, they had a lot of sacks. You had a lot of pressures. You had a lot of sacks. You had a lot of hurries. He had what's called happy feet. He was nervous, very nervous.
He was a little bit nervous.
Very nervous, and maybe that'll go away throughout his whole career. Peyton Manning had happy feet, too, the happiest feet in the history of the world. You look at it early in his career, Peyton. And he was a great quarterback, too, and he's a tremendous guy. But, no, you look at New England, you look at Seattle, I don't think New England should have been there. And they probably wouldn't have made it if it was not for the fact that Bo Nix got hurt. You look at Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. But, no, New England did not look very good. And, you look at this, they put the word Patriot, they gave the word Patriot a very bad name in this case.
Mike Vrabel, good coach, but they didn't have any answer for the defense. I thought perhaps that in the second half they might replace Drake May with Josh Dobbs at quarterback.
I didn't think they were going to do that. The Drake May was their ride or die, and they rode him.
Yeah.
And he played not very well. I would have played better. I called Mike Vrabel. I said, you want me to play quarterback? My Secret Service will protect me better than Will Campbell. You look at the offensive lineman, he was doing horrible. He looked like a turnstile. He looked like a turnstile letting everybody through. It was a pathetic performance, but they got there, and Vrabel did a tremendous job. He's a great guy.
So the ratings, I think that they're trying to pretend that the ratings from the halftime show were good, but I think they're not being honest about what the ratings really were for that halftime show.
It's the fake news. The fake news wants to make it look like everybody wanted to see Nasty Rabbit.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to see him. He's a horrible rabbit. He's a terrible person. We talked about it last week. Bugs Bunny's a great rabbit. Roger Rabbit got a raw deal. We gave him a pardon, by the way.
Mr. President, your helicopter.
We have to go.
Oh, wait, you've got to go. Can Sean stay with us?
He can stay, but we have to go.
You got a few things to do, don't you?
We have a lot to do. We got to get the SAVE Act passed.
You're meeting with Netanyahu.
We have to talk to Bibi. Everyone's going to be upset about it because they don't like when we do that, but we have a lot to take care of.
Mr. President, thank you so much for joining us.
God bless you.
Sean Farash will join us after the break.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Trump Day, Hump Day, Wednesday, Hour 3. That means Sean Farash, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, is here in studio. Sean, you are coming off your greatest professional achievement, which is this 2 minutes, 12 seconds. Trump calls out Bad Bunny video. 8 million views.
Yeah.
8 million views. Now, it's absolutely hilarious. We'll play it in its entirety here in a bit. But I recognize some of the material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not all.
Yeah.
Because a week ago today, in our first part of Hour 3, you kind of tried out some of the themes.
Yep.
Here.
I do that a lot. Whether it's here or other appearances and, kind of things. I grew up watching Whose Line Is It Anyway? I like improv and like trial balloon focus group kind of deal. Actually, I dug out a tweet from October 5th. So this is 4 days after that sombrero video that the president reposted. But I made this post exclusively to my subscribers on X, so the folks who pay to get some exclusive content. I'll send posts out to them, say, I'm thinking of this, behind the scenes, what do you think? And just see, it's a couple hundred people who are on there. So I wrote, idea, Trump in a sombrero or poncho, which I didn't use, because Mexican versus Puerto Rican, so it's different. That wouldn't have worked. But it was right off the sombrero thing, so I was in sombrero mode. Trump in a sombrero or poncho, October 5th, calling out Bad Bunny over not speaking English. Lots of different avenues. Can say, quote, I get along with many bunnies like the Easter Bunny. There's a Biden joke in there. And Little Bunny Foo-Foo. So this was in October. Bad Bunny's nickname, I call him Nasty Rabbit. What do you think? Thoughts and feedback appreciated. I got a few good thoughts in there from some of my subscribers. But just like when I made the video a little earlier this year about hurricane season and no hurricanes in the Gulf of America, I was sitting on this concept for a long time. And there were people going, oh, Bad Bunny was his name. You got to make a video. And I said, I'll make it, but I'm putting it out Super Bowl Sunday. Because that's when the name Bad Bunny is going to be, right? Like, everyone's going to be talking about it. Nobody's going to like it. We could rip them. We could have some fun, do a little weave. And so put it out on Sunday. But I've been sitting on this concept for so long. It's been so hard not to make this video. And then finally put it together on Sunday.
So when did you actually film it?
Sunday morning.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're very timely.
Yeah, I just, because
you kind of knew what you were going to do.
I knew what I was going to do, because like you said, on Wednesday last week, we kind of ran through almost the whole bit. Every bunny that we talked about last week, I think made it into this bit. I don't know if we brought up the Easter Bunny here. I think we
did. Did we bring up Little Bunny Foo-Foo?
We did, because that was, so let me tell you something. So when I brought up Little Bunny Foo-Foo, I forgot about this tweet.
Yeah.
Right? When I did Little Bunny Foo-Foo last week, you laughed. Like it caught you off guard.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
That'll work.
If I can make Michael really laugh, that's funny. So, because you have a good sense of humor. So I said, all right, I have to keep Little Bunny Foo-Foo in the bit. I forgot that I had brought it up several months ago. But when we went through the whole thing, so I heard, I did Bugs Bunny. I heard Patrick laughing. Roger Rabbit makes sense because of the framing.
Yeah, the framing.
Right?
Yeah.
The Easter Bunny, there's obviously the Biden joke, and then I can make the the Easter eggs joke, which everybody knew the innuendo there.
Yeah, everybody knew
because I love doing that, whether it's a TP or whatever it is. and then Little Bunny Foo-Foo, I added that last.
It was hilarious
because it caught you off guard last week.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can leave this in there, and if people could be strung along and get caught off guard by Little Bunny Foo-Foo, then we could really work. And then the field mice and the tariffs and all of this. So, I got several comments like, that's one of the most encouraging things, because that was at the end of the bit.
That was at the end of the bit.
So
it's
when
a 2
people
minute
are
and 12
commenting
seconds.
on Little Bunny Foo-Foo, and I'm like, oh, that means a lot of people are making it to the end, which is a great sign.
Yeah.
So then I did something clever on Instagram, and I put a comment on because it did 4 million views between Instagram and Facebook also.
Mm-hmm.
And
8 million
on 8 on X. So I put in my comments on Instagram and said, to those of you who made it to Little Bunny Foo-Foo, I salute you. So now there's an incentive to listen
there
to
you go.
the end.
All right, let's play it, all 2 minutes and 12 seconds of it, which you recorded that morning.
Yeah.
You put you can listen to it with your headphones on it. Let's play it, and then I have some questions for you.
Sure.
About how we got 8 million views on X and 4 million in other social media outlets. Here we go.
This is your favorite president, and this message is for Bad Bunny, or as I call him, the nasty rabbit. El Conejo Desagradable. He's a nasty rabbit and a stupid rabbit. Anytime you see a guy in a dress, that's a very stupid person. So he's a nasty guy, a horrible guy. They call him Bad Bunny. I call him the worst bunny. Think about it. And nobody knows bunnies quite like I do. I get along very well with many of the highly respected bunnies all around the world. I have a tremendous relationship with Bugs Bunny. He said to me, "What's up, Doc?" He said, "Sir, what's up, Doc, sir?" I said, "You don't have to call me Doc. You could call me Donald." But Bugs Bunny is a tremendous bunny. He does a fantastic job on the baseball field. He plays every position. You look at him, but he does a fantastic job. I get along very well with Roger Rabbit. And what happened to him was horrible, They say, "Sir, who framed Roger Rabbit, sir?" I said, "It was probably the fake news and the Democrats. They frame everybody." But he got a raw deal. And so we gave him a pardon because what happened to Roger Rabbit was horrible. It was a complete and total witch hunt, so we gave him a pardon. I got along very well with the Easter Bunny, who used to lead Crooked Joe Biden around like a lost puppy. But the Easter Bunny said to me, "Sir, you have the biggest Easter eggs the world has ever seen. They're much bigger than," cried Chuck Schumer, or Peso Store Obama. You look at Hakeem Jeffries, they have very small Easter eggs, but I have the biggest eggs the world has ever seen. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. I also got along well with Little Bunny Foo-Foo, and I ended the war between Little Bunny Foo-Foo and the field mice. He was bopping him on the head. I said, "You can't do that. You have to stop doing that, or we're going to hit you with tariffs," and we ended that war. You look at it, the peace president. So we get along well with a lot of bunnies, but not the nasty rabbit known as Bad Bunny. He's a horrible person and a stupid person. El Conejo Desagradable, Bad Bunny, nasty rabbit. He hates our country, and he has no talent. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Okay, so you filmed that.
Yeah.
The morning of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You published it at 1:26 p.m., which was 4 hours before the Super Bowl. What was your thinking on the timing?
My thought was, let's get into the afternoon. Super Bowl at that point, 1:26 Central Time, so it's 2:26, so 4 hours before the Super Bowl. People are talking about it. The Turning Point halftime show is a topic of conversation. It's a trending thing. We'll put it out. I'm putting it out. I'm not putting it out thinking there's going to be 8 million views. I'm putting it out thinking it's going to get traction. It's been a couple weeks since I put a video out. The last time I put out was in the snow.
Yeah.
The snowstorm stuff. So I said, let's just put this out. And at that time,
and let it kind of gain some traction, and then maybe, during the halftime show while people are talking about Bad Bunny, it'll be in search terms because of the subject. And that's exactly what happened. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's exactly what happened. But it took a while to get the full thing in. There were things that I wanted to say that I forgot to say in order, and how am I going to start it and how am I going to end it. And I didn't want to weave too long because I didn't want to lose people. But I would say it worked out pretty well. 2 minutes and 12 seconds. It's pretty good to see a video get that many views. That's that long.
Yeah.
That's long in comparison to what I usually shoot for.
You usually shoot for a minute and a half.
About 90 seconds, yeah.
Okay, so here's a question. I noticed that you get a lot of comments.
Yeah.
And you respond to a lot of, I don't know, there were 2,700 comments.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments.
Dana Lash, our friend.
Yes.
You responded to her.
Her husband, Chris, too.
Yeah,
I think is
Chris.
in there a lot.
Senator Eric Schmidt.
Oh, I love Eric Schmidt. I made a video for him once, like endorsing him. He said his wife got a kick out of it.
So he responded, incredible. And you said, thank you. Keep up the phenomenal work in the Senate. And then all these people, you respond. I mean, was your plan to sit and respond all day?
Yeah, I like to respond to the comments because the videos are for the people who are consuming them, right? And so I want them to understand, everyone, that I appreciate the fact that they're leaving the comment, that they're taking the time to leave the comment, and I'd like to respond. Now, a lot of times it's just thank you or something, but if I know a little something about the person, or if the comment is, brings up something funny, somebody would say, Little Bunny Foo Foo got me. And I said, believe it or not, that was a late edition, like it was at the end. I didn't know what I was going to say, tariffs. I first started doing that on TikTok when these videos started exploding. I would try to respond to almost everybody until it became something that was too hard to keep up with. But yeah, I generally like to respond. And I don't just do it so people see it. I do it because there are so many people who post and ghost, they'll just post it, leave it up, whatever. And if they respond, you got to appreciate the folks that are taking time out of their day, 2 minutes out of their day to listen to me being silly about Bad Bunny. And some people, I watched it 6 times. I'm like, that is 12 minutes of your day that you just wasted. Not wasted, but you just spent on my content. So I want the folks watching to know that they're appreciated. And that's what I like to do that on X specifically. So
on Sunday I'm at church, and the guy at church said, "Hey, I finally listened to your show." And the guy you have on, Trump, he's hilarious. I'm going to listen to your show every day now. I said,
good.
He's only on Wednesdays on the third hour. Oh, that's when I'll listen.
That's funny. Well, hopefully he's listening now.
There
you go.
But you know what people always say? The guy sounds just like Trump. And see, but it's not just that you sound just like Trump. It's that everything it's funny, and it's the kind of thing Trump could say.
That's the thing. Well, I've been watching him for 10 years.
Yeah.
We're both, he's from Queens, I'm from Long Island, so there's a similar thought process there. But I like him, and I think what he says is funny. We have the same sense of humor, so it's easy for me to do it.
Yeah. All right. We'll have more with Sean Farash when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TessieStar.com.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. The very best Trump impersonator in the world, the one, the only, Sean Farash, is here in studio. You know, Sean, in our second hour of the program, we had as our guest the great Lenny McGill of the Glock Store. And what was interesting, you know, they moved here. They moved all their business here 5 years ago from California. You know what he told me? As of January 1st, it is illegal to sell a Glock at retail in the state of California.
Well, I'm sure he's happy to be in the state of Tennessee.
He is happy to be in the state of Tennessee.
Because that sounds like the Glock store wouldn't be able to be a store in California. So he's in a place where I'm sure he does tons of business. I know he's doing very well.
I mean, what would they, I mean, can you imagine?
It would just have to be called the store.
The store. The no Glock store.
I like Lenny. Lenny's great. I'm happy he's here.
So, you and I are both from New York State. I am so happy that I'm no longer in New York State.
Likewise.
As you are.
Likewise, yes.
This is
As is my bank account, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a story that tells you just how bad it's getting in New York State. And New York City. Headline from the New York Post. Zohran Mamdani disses Catholics by breaking decades of tradition and skipping Archbishop ceremony. Mayor Zohran Mamdani committed a cardinal sin last week by dissing millions of area Catholics.
Good wordplay.
As the first city mayor in nearly 100 years, and possibly ever, to skip the local archbishop's installation. Ronald Hicks, age 58, on Friday became the 11th archbishop of the New York Archdiocese since 1850, accepting the reins of power from Cardinal Timothy Dolan. One of the event's traditions dating back to at least 1939, when then New York City Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia attended the installation of famous clergyman Cardinal Francis Spellman, had been the attendance of the Big Apple's sitting mayor. Until this year, Mamdani decided he had better things to do than help honor the new leader of one of the largest Catholic groups in the country. Now, just to tell you how awful New York State has become. Did you see the speech that he gave? He has declared World Hijab Day. I
didn't see this.
Yeah, he's sent out
World
a tweet.
Hijab Day.
Yeah. He suggested at the annual Interfaith Prayer Breakfast that the U.S. should use the Prophet Muhammad's example on immigration.
Yeah, I'll pass on that one. Thank you. The Prophet Muhammad's example of immigration is resulting in a lot of people being raped in the United Kingdom. So I'm going to say we'll take a hard pass on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon Gill, the representative from Texas.
He is
Isn't he good?
phenomenal. He is such a phenom, you know. And this is the biggest complaint. Is like, oh well, what's he doing? He's saying, but this is what he's got to do. He's one person. He is so sharp. This is Dinesh D'Souza's son-in-law, correct? Yeah.
Okay.
He is so sharp. He's great in these hearings too. I don't know what kind of background he has, if he's a law guy or anything, but he is.
I don't think he's a law guy. He's from Dartmouth. He graduated from Dartmouth.
I'll tell you.
Despite that, he's
that
still
guy could be a
pretty good.
prosecutor. The way he questions people.
It's interesting to look at. We played a clip of him earlier. He said he interviewed this. They have these hearings on Sharia law, and Sharia law is the exact opposite of our Constitution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. If you have Sharia law, you are throwing our Constitution away.
Right, and violating a lot, equal protection.
You name it.
That's the low-hanging fruit with the
First
stuff with
Amendment
the women.
rights,
Yeah,
all that
of
sort of
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
And he had a witness, and he said, 39% of Muslims in America support Sharia law overtaking the Constitution. And the guy said, that's the problem.
Right.
And Zoran Mamdani is clearly pushing Islam over every other religion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's no question about it, right? This is what Brandon Gill, what Brandon Gill is doing is important, is he's exposing a lot of people. It's up to us, though, like the consumers of that, to push for accountability. We hear and then we share and then we talk about it for a couple of days and then it goes away and then we blame Brandon Gill for not doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But the people have to organize and make that push also. I think Brandon Gill last night, I didn't see this, but a friend of ours from Long Island, he's in, I think, GW something. He's in D.C. His name's Kieran Leahy. He was one of the teen Republican chairmen down Long Island, kids hockey player, amazing. Just hosted a fireside chat with Brandon Gill last night. So
he did?
I'm going to see if I can find a
kid.
Brandon is very sharp, but this Kieran is very sharp also.
So here's the problem with New York State. You've got New York City, which now has elected an Islamist communist as mayor.
Yep.
Because 36% of the voters there are foreign-born. How many of them were illegal? A good chunk, probably.
Probably a decent amount.
But then you've got, you've got Long Island.
Yep.
Then you've got the suburbs, Westchester and above.
Yeah.
And then you got real upstate.
Right.
Right. Real upstate is conservative.
Yes.
But
Very much so.
the rest of New York, not so much.
Long Island is trending towards the right, but it's not as decidedly conservative. It's more purple than it is upstate.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
And even in upstate, what you've got is the core urban areas.
Yes.
Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse. Those are, blue cities.
Buffalo doesn't count. Buffalo, we should just give Buffalo to Canada. Just you want to drop the tariffs? Well, you got to take Buffalo off our hands. You have all of Niagara Falls too. Who says no?
I think
Buffalo would say no.
Look, I'm in favor of trading Minnesota for Alberta, right?
I'll trade Buffalo for nothing. We keep the wings, you get the city. How's that sound?
But you've got the Botox, Bucktooth Bandit of Buffalo.
That's correct. Yep, the Bucktooth Botox Bandit of Buffalo. People are like,
the governor.
Some people take it really personally. Like, I'm obviously doing this out of like a jest with football and things. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for Josh Allen, by the way. I think the way he carries himself off the field is great. He's a tough player. He's like this generation's Ben Roethlisberger, minus the off the field things.
Yeah,
you know?
So he doesn't have those off the field problems.
I like Josh, but I always take shots at Buffalo, and some people are from Buffalo, and they love their city. They're, you're to stop attaching Kathy Hochul. I said, she's from your city. It's your fault. They're like, no, it's not. You're making me not like you. I'm like, well, then you can't take a joke. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of good people in Buffalo.
So, but here's the problem. This is why New York State is going the wrong way.
The wrong way. Well, there's also a lot of people left too.
Well, yeah, the smart people left. As say the two people who were born there.
We are
and have left.
Yes, we are the smart people. That's like when someone was like, "Well, you're a Jet fan. You shouldn't be talking about the Patriots not belonging in the Super Bowl." And I said, "I'm a Jet fan. I know what doesn't belong in the Super Bowl. I watch it every year."
Yeah. So here's the thing. Now, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Zoran Mamdani have both endorsed Kathy Hochul for governor.
Of course. Oh, he endorsed her already?
Yeah.
Wow.
So clearly, this Islamist who hates Catholics and is an authoritarian leftist is aligned with the current governor of the state of New York.
Interesting.
Now, I mean,
I didn't realize he was going to. I didn't think he was going to endorse her so soon.
Well,
wow.
There's a play going on here, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so.
And we've got a Republican challenger,
Bruce Blakeman,
but I think it's an uphill battle.
It's going to be uphill. Bruce is a good guy. I know him. He gave one of his first speeches when he was running for Nassau County Executive. He gave one of the first speeches of his campaign on my pickup truck's bed at a rally we were throwing. He's a good guy. He's about the right stuff. He's done a phenomenal job in Nassau County, which is a purple county. He just won re-election in 25 for his second term as county executive. But he's got an uphill battle. He's going to have to battle name recognition. He just chose his second running mate. The first one dropped out. The second one is a sheriff from Madison County, New York. So a good law and order candidate.
Well, hold on. A sheriff from Madison County, New York?
Yeah.
That's one of the places I lived in Madison County.
Yeah.
Stockbridge. I was the high school there from 7th grade to 9th grade. When I was attending high school there, they were the Stockbridge Valley Indians.
Oh, can't do that. She made that like illegal?
Yeah, Cuomo did.
Yeah. Massapequa is still the Chiefs. They're not getting rid of that.
And Madison County is tiny, maybe 54,000 people.
That's not a lot of people.
And it's not, you're not going to carry a lot of people with Madison
I think
County.
what he's trying to do is because New York gave a Long Islander a shot 4 years ago, and upstaters kind of look at Long Islanders like, oh, you're really not conservatives, and it's like, no, we are. So he's kind of throwing upstate a bone because Lee went with Allison Esposito, and she was a former NYPD cop, right? So there was no real upstate on the ballot.
Right.
Now there's upstate on the ballot. I think that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I know. Asterisk.
Yeah.
The sheriff of Madison County is not going to get a lot of.
Unless this guy's a firecracker. I've never heard of him though.
So, if he's from Madison County, he's probably not a firecracker. Said the guy who grew up there. No, it's a beautiful place. I mean,
sure. Upstate's beautiful. Upstate New York is amazing.
Stockbridge Valley, which is within Madison County, has a lot of historic significance. It was founded, that whole area was basically John Jacob Astor and Peter Smith got into trading furs with the Native Americans there. They got tons of land. Smith's son, Garrett Smith, was the guy who bankrolled John Brown, right?
Wow.
Way back when.
Yeah.
The Stockbridge Indians are a real Indian tribe, and they lived in the Stockbridge area for like 60 years before they were essentially kicked out. But there was a tribe called Stockbridge Indians. But because of everything being politically correct,
right.
They're now the Cougars.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think there were any real Cougars there ever. But okay. So
sure.
But back to the, I think it's going to be tough, very tough.
It will be
and what you're going to end up with. I think the blue states are getting bluer.
Yep, and the red states are getting redder.
And the red states are getting redder.
That happened post-COVID, because pre-COVID you had a lot of blues leaving the blues, going to the red states, making the red states purple. But post-COVID, it was like, oh, no, we're not leaving. This is a Democrat state. We love socialism in this utopia. Great. So I think there was a study done for Tennessee specifically, with like 80% of people who moved into the state of Tennessee after 2020 are conservative, like dyed-in-the-wool conservative voters, which is good.
Right.
Because you don't want, don't California my Texas type of deal going on. Like, look what happened in Florida. So many people moved to Florida, you would think, oh, maybe they're going to blue up this red state. No, it's like
the conservatives moved
solid red in
solid
Florida
red now.
Solid.
Yeah.
20-point margin for DeSantis in 22.
I think this is where we're going as a country. The blue states will get bluer, and the red states will get redder.
Well, look, Marjorie Taylor Greene, way back when, she before she kind of lost her mind.
She
called it a national divorce.
Yeah.
You know, where the blue states would get bluer, the reds. And she was right about that. I won't take anything away from that comment. I think it's okay. That's where states' rights come into play. Federalism.
Yeah.
I love this debate because, it's what DeSantis did, protecting his constituents from the federal government.
When we come back, guess what, Sean? News potpourri.
I can't wait for that music. I love that music.
Back with the great Sean Farage after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. It's Trump Day, so in studio today, our very good friend Sean Farage, the very best Trump impersonator in the world. Sean, it's that time of day again. It's time for
News Potpourri.
News Potpourri. I think you like that music as much as I do.
It's my favorite.
News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program. We talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, but may have a touch of
irony.
Irony.
I love irony.
Hey, you know, this Saturday.
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
Yes.
The Wall Street Journal has a fascinating story relevant on Valentine's Day. Headline, a Stanford experiment to pair 5,000 singles has taken over the campus.
Oh.
A student built a matchmaking algorithm that has consumed the school.
Uh-oh.
When Ben Rosenfield started working as an RA at Stanford University dorm, he encountered 77 freshmen possessed by an all-consuming force. His new gig coincided with the release of Date Drop, a matchmaking platform that launched in September and immediately took over conversation in the dorm. They're always talking about who they want to be matched with, who they're matched with, and who their friends are matched with. Basically, Henry Wang, a graduate student, they have the students answer 66 questions about their values, lifestyle, and political views. The responses are fed to an algorithm, and the matches drop every Tuesday night at 9 p.m.
Interesting.
How about that for Valentine's Day?
That's pretty cool. You know, I wish we could get back to the days where we didn't need an algorithm to make our decisions and stuff. You know, I mean, but, I suppose there's worse things, but that's kind of cool. You know, I like it. I'm excited. Valentine's Day is always, it's always interesting to see what your favorite president is going to say. So
yeah,
he may have something to say.
Do you think our favorite president will have something to say?
Our favorite president may have a poem that has been written. You know, we haven't rhymed in a while, so we may have a poem.
There you go.
The roses are red. You know.
We'll be looking for that one.
We'll keep an eye out. That's all I'm saying. You know.
Heineken. This is a story from CNBC.
Green bottles.
They are slashing up to 6,000 jobs in AI productivity savings amid a slump in beer sales.
So they're cutting real jobs in favor of AI?
AI is replacing.
That's terrible.
Hey, that's not good.
What does AI know about beer, by the way? You know, ChatGPT cannot tell me what's a good beer or a bad beer.
I don't know.
They base it off of what people say.
Yeah.
Get AI out of beer. It's going to taste gross soon.
Speaking of gross, a congressman from the New York City area, back to New York City, had something to talk about that he's very proud about. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
It's Representative Charles Barron.
I have the distinct honor to be able to come before you and say I actually lost white population in my community.
Oh, jeez.
I lost them. They left. They left. I didn't ask them why. They left. So if you see 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 whites in my neighborhood, they're passing through.
What a jerk.
This is what we got.
Can you say that about another ethnic group? Can you say that? Could you imagine for a second Trump? Well, you know, the population of Latinos has decreased in our country, and if you see them, they're just passing through. Could you imagine any other group? If I was a representative, if, for example, Congressman Andy Ogles came out and said, you know, we lost a lot of people of color in our neighborhood, and if you see them in our district, they're just passing through. What he would have to go through, that is disgusting.
Yeah.
First of all, you shouldn't be celebrating that anybody's leaving your district. That means that you're not doing a good job. That's number one. But this targeting of whites, you can get away with saying anything about white people that if you applied to any other ethnic group, you would be dragged in the media, social media. You'd have your address doxed. You'd have your employer called. That's gross.
I
That's
completely
gross.
agree.
Yeah.
Hey, here's speaking of things that are gross or weird. What's going on with Republican elected officials in the state of Kentucky?
Oh, I don't know.
Massey?
Rand
Massey.
It's a haircut thing, I think.
Oh, gosh.
They have
bad haircuts.
Undercooked linguine is what it looks like. Yeah. Al dente.
Is Massey, with his al dente haircut, is he jealous of Trump's flowing locks?
I think so. I think Massey is jealous of the golden waves of grain. He had an interesting little episode yesterday, I think, with one of Laura Loomer's reporters. He had like the googly eyes that came out.
What were
Massey
they asking him about?
Something, I think, Epstein related or something, and he just went like full Adam Schiff. It was bug eyes. It was crazy.
There's something wrong with Thomas Massey.
Yeah, something's up with him.
He's a bright guy.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money inventing products. But now he just hates Donald Trump. And if there's a chance to vote against him, there's another sort of procedural vote on tariffs, right? And so 3 Republicans in the House voted against Trump on it. Kevin Kiley of California, Don Bacon.
Of course.
There's a joke in that one.
Yeah, of
the
course.
retiring Republican from Nebraska.
Yep.
and then Thomas Massey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bacon is, well, he's not bringing it home.
No, he's not bringing home the bacon. No. Massey, I think, is in trouble, too, in this primary. Ed Galrain's getting a lot of momentum. So, Kentucky 4.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Hey, this is a weird story. You know that the Seditious Six video that Mark Kelly and others put together?
Yes.
Saying don't follow unlawful orders, basically encouraging insurrection. So, Jeanine Pirro didn't ask me if this would be a good idea. I would have told her, not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
She decided to take it to a grand jury in, wait for it.
She's looking for an indictment?
The District of Columbia.
Oh, you're not getting one. Forget it.
Well, yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
I think she knows that,
too.
She
knows that, too.
But
they
might as well try.
They brought it, didn't try. Well, look, 92% of the people in the District of Columbia voted against Donald Trump. They hate him.
Right.
You can't get a fair trial there.
No.
If you're a conservative. And you can't, no Democrat will be indicted by a grand jury there. Let me tell you what I'm in favor of. Getting rid of home rule for the District of Columbia because it's just a disaster.
Yeah.
And you got to change the court system as well so that you don't have to, you got to have you can't have all your cases go to the federal district court in D.C.
Right.
It's just populated
It's tainted.
with liberals.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait for the Valentine's Day poem.
Working on it.
All right.
Working on it.
Thanks so much for joining us, Sean Farage.
Thank you.
The very greatest Trump impersonator in the world. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, and then we'll have Marsha Blackburn on the show tomorrow.
Nice.
And Crom Carmichael and Phil Klein and all sorts of great stuff. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.